So obviously, I won't be real long, but I just want to. I'll share with you what my word is and kind of put it in a scriptural context. And I think it has to do also with the body. So I do want to take. There we go. Whew. My word is work out and get in shape. Although maybe that's part of it. I just want to, and I'll put it in context. When I was telling you that my word for 2017 was order. When order comes, you know what's next? Moving forward. And I have a buddy who he doesn't go to church here, but he gets all of our. He doesn't even live in Roanoke, but he gets all of our little emails and whatever it is we send out. He gets all that, and so he texted me. I was thinking like I just Lord, I don't really have a word for the year. Joy asked me, what's your word, and I'm like, and I feel like a little bit of a slug because like I don't really know, and this guy texted me. I guess it was about Wednesday or Thursday, sometime along there, and he's like, man, I got this word for the year. Like he's plugging into kind of what we do, even though he's not here. It was like, oh, wow, if we could even get our own people to read that would be really cool. And for you to read it, this is really special. And so he was like, my word for the year is forward. And I thought it was like it hit me. And I was like, so I told Joy later that day, I think Eric, it was Eric. And I think Eric stole my word, man. But then as I began to realize, like, okay, when the Lord establishes order, it's for a purpose. And order is, it's like where there's confusion, man, the enemy is there, right? Yeah. And it's a mark of his. When you see this is cool.
My word for the year is instruction.
Well, that's a very difficult apparatus. That's yeah, I see the knob, buddy, but yeah. Oh, look at that. Up, down, up, down. Thank you.
Loosen, tighten.
Loosen, tighten.
Don't
Lefty,
force.
lefty,
Don't force
loosey,
it.
righty, tighty.
Listen, yeah.
Okay, I got it.
There's
There's an order. Well, so the Lord's still working on some order, I suppose. But when the Lord establishes order, like it really clears the way to move forward. Confusion, of course, is a mark of the enemy, and when we get caught in confusion, you've probably experienced this. I know I have. We get caught in confusion. Everything's just kind of swirling, and you go nowhere. A lot of times for me, it's the kind of the analysis, the paralysis of self-analysis. And it's confusion, and you just kind of go nowhere. With order, I just feel like the Lord is saying now, okay, with this order that I have established, not some earthly system, but with this order that I have established, it's like time to move forward. And I don't know what all that looks like, but just putting it in the context of some of what we've talked about here lately, let me just kind of share what I think I have so far. So we've been looking at Isaiah 61. Remember, we were like, oh, Merry Christmas, right? And we were seeing in Isaiah 61 all these things that, it's like why Jesus came, not to establish economic justice or none of that. It's like, no, it says the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, Jesus, and it lists some things like why he came, to bring good news to the afflicted, right? We talked about all that, to bring basically good news or the gospel to the afflicted. It could be translated there to the poor, and really the reference is to the poor in spirit, those who recognize their need for God. Like there's a lot of people who really in our culture who I think probably don't have a real strong recognition of their need for God, right? I think we can keep sowing seed there because at some point when they have this recognition of their need for God, maybe that seed will germinate and grow. But according to this, it's like this gospel, the good news that we proclaim and that Jesus comes to bring is really for those who recognize they have a need. Probably why the Pharisees didn't follow him around the countryside. So it's like he came to bring good news to the afflicted. He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. I'm digging that. And one of my favorite was like to proclaim liberty to the captives and freedom to the prisoners. And then we see the next, to proclaim, and we talked about all these. This one I thought was really cool when we got into this, to proclaim the favorable year of the Lord. Like really understanding what is the Lord's favor. What is that? Is that like, well, I get good parking places every time I go to the mall? Maybe that's part of it, but like really understanding like what favor is there. Now check this out as we're kind of moving forward. Like, and I want to put it in the context of what I'm talking about, because like I want to say that as Jesus comes and he's like, Merry Christmas, here's why I've come, and the things I just read, what he's doing there is he's establishing order. This good news he brings, this gospel that he brings to those who are poor in spirit, like that's what puts life in order. When our hearts have been shattered, and that's really the word there, when our hearts have been shattered, like as he begins to bind them back together, he brings order, right? When we understand really what his favor is, like it begins to bring order, because understanding that his favor means we are fully redeemed and restored. Understanding this favor means that, like that begins to really impact and affect my identity, right? And with that order in place, then I'm ready to move forward. So he says in verse 3, he gives them a garland instead of ashes, an oil of gladness instead of mourning, and the mantle of praise instead of a spirit of fainting. Like sometimes I think we would love to have this garland. That's like, they were going to celebrate a victory. They put the garland. Sometimes I think we would love to celebrate the victory, and we would love to be basking in and soaking in maybe this oil of gladness, or we would really love to be here on a Sunday with a mantle of praise, but we want those things not having allowed him to establish first the order that is necessary. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so as I'm moving into 2018, it's like not only that, 2 for $3.99, and not only that, you can have a free. It's not only that. Check it out, man. This whole thing has a purpose. Yes. The purpose is not so that I can get good news that brings order and settles my soul. Like that's a fruit of it, but it's not even a byproduct. It's like a fruit of it, but like that's not the full purpose of it. It's part of it, but it's not the full purpose of it. I'm free. I have liberty. This year of favor, the year of Jubilee, everything has been forgiven. This favor, like that's awesome, but that's not the full point of it. Well, this point of it is that it gives me this oil of gladness instead of mourning. That's part of it. Oh, well, it gives me this mantle of praise instead of a spirit of fainting. That's part of it. But check this out, man. The real purpose in the order he brings and the real purpose of what he's doing in our lives is this, the last part of verse 3. So, you see that word? Important, interesting word there, and very important. All that has preceded it in verse 1, 2, and the first part of verse 3 has a reason. There is a purpose to it. So, now he begins to say, here's the reason for all of that. So that the they there, hey guys, the they there is us. So say, they is me.
They is me.
Well, you're grammatically incorrect. They is us, right? So the they is us. We often see the gospel as something used for personal consumption. That's the West, right? That's America. That's Canada. Well, I don't know what Canada thinks. Canada's hard to figure out. I get they're good at hockey. I know that. So that in the West, whether we're talking about America, Canada, Western Europe, we tend to see the gospel in terms of in terms of personal consumption, and through the grid of a very strong individualistic spirit. So he's speaking not to individuals, but he's speaking to the the body of Christ. Okay? And of course, there are individuals that make up that body, but all of the concentration is not on the individual. God bless America. But did you know that as we read the Gospels, we understand that the Gospel is written from an Eastern context, whether it's Hebrew or even the Eastern influence in the Greek. Like the Gospel is written in a way that all the part of the, at least a major share is talking about they, a body. So they will be called They will be called oaks of righteousness. Oaks of righteousness. When you think of an oak tree, what do you think of? Give me 3 or 4 words, real quick. Well, no, I can't hear that. I went to the doctor. He told me I was 69% hearing loss. I think that's what he said. I couldn't quite hear him. So I don't know what the number is, but I can't hear ambient noise. Well, I can hear ambient noise, but then I can't hear real, I don't know. Yeah, it's all good. Strong. Give me another one. Huh? Solid. Yeah, I like the word there, unwavering. Strong, unwavering. Acorn. I was headed there. Majestic. Okay, so he says, huh? Big. Yeah. Deep roots. You're seeing the, I won't enumerate all those. You're seeing them, right? So they will be called oaks of righteousness. Why would he be concerned that we would begin to be called, we, not me, but we, why would we, anyway, why would he be concerned that we would be called oaks of righteousness? Strong, unwavering, seed-bearing, acorns, majestic, huh? And that's what we're seeing. The planning of the Lord that he may be glorified. So I'm understanding that my word for 2017 was order. And I saw really the establishment of some order in my personal life, and I saw it in my life in our family. I saw it in context of ministry. Like there's order. And I am so excited that if that's true, and the word for 2018 is forward, what that forward is defined as is that we would be called oaks of righteousness so that he may be glorified. This word glorified, we've talked about it before. It's a real fancy seminary word. You have to pay a lot of money and join a denomination to understand it. But if I can put it real simple for you, glorified, it just simply means if I glorify him, it simply means I reflect him. Right? My prayer for myself in 2018 is in my own personal life that I would begin to more and more reflect him. My prayer is that in my family life, wouldn't it be really cool if my wife and my children and their spouses, wouldn't it be really cool if we came to the end of the year and they go, you know what, I saw something in Dad or in my husband, I saw something that really reflected him. Wouldn't it be really cool if in the context of the body, because this is a they, wouldn't it be really cool if people outside this body at the end of the year kind of came to the conclusion, it's really interesting, that church, it's different than what I've known or something, but I just see something there that reflects him. Wouldn't it be really cool? I am of the persuasion that is moving forward. Yes. Organization, I'll say something controversial. Do y'all mind? Organization will not move us forward. Order will move us forward. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with organization. I think when order comes, often organization will follow. But the concentration on organization, where to the extent where organization becomes the object, is a killer. But order is life-giving and brings us to a place where in our personal lives, in our ministry, even here in the body, because it's life-giving, we can begin to reflect him. Is that making sense? That's my word. I want us to, we'll close up. I want to ask Jordan and Robin, since you were giving me some instruction, can I give you a suggestion at least? I wonder if you guys could sing that song, the one you did the last one. The Winter Spring. That's awesome stuff, man. If you guys could sing that, as they're singing, of course, part of that song we can guys kind of sing along with, but as they're singing, please feel free to come forward and share communion, okay?